Let's see what happens this week in Cold Blue News. First, Matt reports on the school's attendance policy. Next, Kevin explains what impeachment is. And finally, Caroline talks to seniors about college and graduation. Now, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Hey Bulldogs, I'm Matt Messina.
And I'm Nick Chaffee. Welcome to Cold Blue News. Unless you are still playing football, all lockers on the team side of the locker room must be cleaned out by Monday. If any items are left in the lockers, they will be put in the lost and found.
At the end of the term, many people took home report cards that were marked with X's instead of grades. Recently, I sat down with Principal Stevenson to go over the school's attendance policy and explain why these students had X's on their report cards.
At the end of the first term, many students were furious at an X on their report card. Of course, they didn't fully grasp the rules about attendance. Most students have to now wait until next term to recover their grades.
An attendance failure is when a student exceeds the number of allowable unexcused absences in a quarter. So if a student is absent 4 or more unexcused times within a quarter, they become an attendance failure for that class in that quarter. An excused absence is either when you come in with a note from a doctor, a medical appointment, a legal appointment, a court appointment, any of those reasons, as long as they're kind of documented and brought in. This all began back in the old building through the school council. There had been a concern about the number of absences that our students had. Then all of the folks in the school council went out and they kind of reached out to other surrounding communities, reached out to other handbooks, and found that many people had an attendance failure policy, which is similar to what we have in place. We asked that all students within 3 days of returning to school bring in their doctor's or whatever note it is that they have. So if you exceed 4 or more unexcused absences, regardless of whether you're passing the class, your grade gets dropped down to a 64% and you receive an X on your report card. That means that at the end of the quarter, when the new quarter begins, you can earn back your grade by not becoming an attendance failure for a second quarter.
Many students question the validity of the attendance policy.
So I personally do believe that I deserved the X because of the policy, but I do not agree with the policy just because I personally went for my cousin's wedding and family is important to me. Personally, I believe I'm a good student because I keep my grades up. I do everything I'm supposed to.
Well, there's a couple of circumstances that the school may not have considered while making these rules. If you were a senior or late junior, you really can't turn in a college application if there's an attendance failure X on it. You would have to wait until next term, assuming you can recover. If you are a senior, however, you don't have time to wait. You need to apply to colleges now, and your credibility significantly goes down if they see that X on your report card. For all of you watching, I recommend you are very careful about attendance for this reason.
I do believe that the school has neglected some possibilities with medical issues with certain kids. A lot of kids have a lot of different problems, and the school goes personally into that. They don't ask the students why they've been absent. There's a lot of people that have been absent due to some medical stuff that they don't really tell the school.
The school requires students to have a doctor's note to excuse absences, but sometimes obtaining one can be difficult. Students without insurance can suffer financially from visiting the doctor's office. With insurance, the cost for each doctor's visit is $25, and without insurance, the costs range from $150 to $200. This can be too much for families who are not financially stable or struggling to make ends meet. On the other hand, some students' doctor's offices may be too far from their home, and parents may see it as an inconvenience if their child can be treated at home. In this instance, parents would be going to the doctor's office to hear about possible remedies to make their child feel better that they already know of while racking up medical bills. The only issue now is they don't have that note, and there's a good chance their child could have an X on their report card if they spend more than 4 days out. With all of this said, there are two sides to any school policy, but hopefully it can only improve over time. This is Matthew Messina, back to you in the studio.
If you are interested in playing a winter sport, you must sign up on Family ID before Thanksgiving. No exceptions will be made. If you miss Wednesday's girls' basketball meeting, see Miss McCarthy in C-135.
Now, let's go to a quick sports update with Andrew.
Did you know it's been 85 days since Chuck has made it? Did you know? Man, that's really interesting. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Andrew. That was very interesting. Freshman football wrapped up their season with a 30-14 hard-fought loss versus Hull. Caden Montes rushed for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns, while the offensive line played extremely well. The team finished with 4 wins this season, and 3 other losses were by 1 touchdown or less.
The fall sports banquet will be next Monday, November 25th, here at the school.
Nobody is more excited than the seniors that the first term is over. They had a lot of different stresses, and Caroline went out to get their thoughts on senior year so far.
So if you are not currently a senior, I can almost guarantee that you're excited for that time to come. The last year comes with a lot of great things, but it also comes with an immense amount of responsibility. I talked to some of the members of the senior class about what they have had to deal with so far.
It was very stressful applying to colleges. I had to make sure I turned in all my applications on time, make sure I submitted all my test scores. I had to retake my ACTs because I needed higher scores for some of the schools I was applying to. Yeah, very stressful. Getting everything in on time, making sure nothing got messed up.
I mean, it's more or less just completing the Common App and like finishing FAFSA. That's only it.
It could be a lot easier, let's say that. The college deadlines are really here now, and a lot of big assignments are starting to be due, and we're starting to get a lot more work now that the year's really started, so.
Seniors may be living in a giant pile of stress, but we also have small amounts of wisdom to impart in some of you young people who plan on attending colleges.
Get it done soon. Try not wait till next year, like try to keep putting it off because it's gonna start coming up and you're gonna need to finish.
I wish I knew like how to go about like getting my transcript and test scores and everything sent to the school before like last minute, because that was stressful trying to make sure everything got to the school but on time.
That stress that comes with senior year is probably the least talked about aspect. As they said, prepare yourselves. With all the great things senior year has to offer comes a lot of responsibility. This has been Caroline Duggan with Code Blue News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Caroline.
In national news, the 2 guards that were in charge of watching Jeffrey Epstein have been convicted of falsifying prison records. The 2 guards were napping and shopping online instead of making their patrols, but the guards wrote on their papers that they had made the patrols. Epstein was only found dead when the 2 went to deliver his breakfast. Epstein was supposed to have a cellmate and be on a 24-hour watch, but his cellmate was transferred the day before. We will continue to report on this story as it develops.
With all this impeachment talk as of late, Kevin is here to fill us in on exactly what impeachment is.
Hi, welcome back to Politics with Kev. Today we're going to be talking about something you've probably already heard about on the news, impeachment. The House Democrats have launched what is known as an impeachment inquiry. In this segment, I'm going to try to explain what that means exactly, the impeachment process in general, and explain what exactly Trump is being impeached for. Now, we will start with the impeachment inquiry. So in basic terms, an impeachment inquiry is basically an investigation into a sit-in president. That's the simple part. So let's get to the more complex part. What exactly is impeachment? Impeachment is the first step in the constitutional process to remove an elected official, in this case the president, from office. A president can be impeached for treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Treason is defined in the Constitution in Article 3, Section 3, Clause 1. Now, the other, high crimes and misdemeanors, part is where there are conflicting interpretations. Now, you're probably thinking, but Kevin, isn't the Constitution a super clear document that states things like this in black and white? If you're thinking that, then you literally could not be more wrong. Alright, this part of the Constitution is very vague, leading to many conflicting views, with some saying it means crimes similar in severity to bribery and treason, some say it refers to crimes below them in severity, and about a trillion other interpretations that I just don't have time to cover. Now finally, we're going to talk about what exactly Trump is being investigated for. Well, it all starts with this man over my shoulder. His name is Vladimir Zelensky, and despite the name, he totally isn't a stereotypical supervillain. He is the president of Ukraine. Trump has been accused of asking for dirt regarding Joe Biden's son Hunter Biden in exchange for military aid to Ukraine. This is being seen as an abuse of power by many Democrats, such as Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. I don't have enough time left in this segment, but next time I will be going in depth into specifically the impeachment inquiry into Trump. That's all from me. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you for explaining all that, Kevin. Speaking of presidents, today is the day in 1960 where President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. JFK was in a car in Dallas, Texas when he was shot. The assassination was carried out by Lee Harvey Oswald, whose motives are still unknown due to the fact that he was killed before he could testify.
As a little note, the Epstein guards were convicted. And before we go, let's send it over to Tiana Del Canto, who is currently on a bus for a school trip in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Tiana,
Yeah, they're on.
What's up?
you are on Code Blue.
Hi.
Hello.
Say hi, you got a wave, bud.
Am I live?
Yes.
You are very
Oh,
live.
hi.
Hello.
Okay, you should.
So, where are you at the moment?
So, we're currently making our way to Pennsylvania. We've just arrived at our first rest stop in Milford, Connecticut.
So, what are the big plans for this trip? Where are you going?
Big plans? First day, we're going to Pennsylvania, obviously. Second day, we're going to be going to the Amish country. And we're also going to Hershey Park. And then third day, we're going to Gettysburg.
What do you think is the most anticipated one? Most excited?
Should we ask the question now? Okay. What are you looking most forward to in this trip?
Probably the haunted house tour.
Haunted house tours. Yes. What are you looking most forward to? Hershey Park. Hershey Park? What are you looking most forward to?
Definitely Hershey Park and Gettysburg.
Hershey Park and Gettysburg.
You know, I'm looking forward to pretty much all of Philadelphia and, you know, the haunted tour, 'cause that sounds pretty fun.
Haunted tours.
Thank you very much, Tiana. I hope you all have a great time on the trip.
Okay, back to you in the studio.
Yeah, thank you, Tiana. We hope you all have fun on the trip.
We would like to wish a very happy birthday to one of our very own crew members, Brianna Graziano. Happy 16th birthday.
Happy birthday, Brianna. And that wraps up this week's show. I'm Nick Chaffee.
And I'm Matt Messina. See you next Friday.